You are terrified of the word no. From the time you were a child, you have been conditioned to view rejection as a failure. You were taught that a successful interaction is one where everyone agrees, everyone is happy, and everyone says yes. You have been programmed to be reasonable. When you enter a negotiation, when you ask for a raise, when you ask for a favor, your mind is plagued by a singular paralyzing fear. What if they refuse? Because of this fear, you negotiate against yourself before you even open your mouth. You look at what you want, and then you shrink it. You dilute it. You make it smaller, softer, and more realistic so that the other person won't be offended. You offer them your bottom line as your opening bid. You strip yourself of all your armor, walk onto the battlefield naked, and beg the enemy not to shoot. This is the strategy of the amateur. This is the strategy of the slave who is grateful for crumbs. The warlord does not fear the word no. The warlord craves it. The warlord understands that no is not a wall, it is a door. And if you know how to use it, the enemy's refusal becomes the exact mechanism that forces their ultimate surrender. Sun Tzu says, all warfare is based on deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. You must make the enemy believe you want the moon, so that when you ask for the mountain, they hand it to you with a sigh of relief. Today, we are going to teach you the psychological weapon known as the door-in-the-face technique. We are going to teach you how to weaponize rejection. We will show you how to engineer a massive calculated failure in order to guarantee a secondary, devastating success. We are going to teach you how to manipulate the human brain's desire for contrast and its absolute vulnerability to reciprocal concession. You are going to learn how to make the enemy feel like they won the negotiation precisely at the moment they give you exactly what you wanted all along. Welcome to the high ground. Part 1. The physics of the rejection, the decoy. To master this technique, you must first understand the architecture of the human mind under pressure. When you make a request of someone, you are placing a psychological weight on their shoulders. You are asking for their time, their money, their energy, or their resources. Human beings are inherently protective of their resources. Their natural default state is resistance. Their default answer is no. The amateur tries to overcome this resistance with logic, begging, or extreme reasonableness. The amateur says, "Please, it's only a small favor. It won't take much time." By doing this, the amateur accepts the enemy's frame. The amateur admits that they are a burden. The warlord does not try to sneak past the resistance. The warlord triggers the resistance intentionally. The door-in-the-face technique works in a two-step sequence. Step 1. You make an extreme, massive, almost unreasonable request, a request you know will be rejected. Step 2. When they reject it, slamming the door in your face, you immediately retreat to a smaller, moderate request. This second request is what you actually wanted from the very beginning. Why does this work? Why does a manufactured failure lead to a success? It relies on two invisible laws of cognitive physics, the law of perceptual contrast and the law of reciprocal concession. Let us break them down. Part 2. The twin pillars of manipulation. Pillar 1. The law of perceptual contrast. The human brain cannot measure absolute value. It can only measure relative value. If you lift a 50-pound weight and then you lift a 10-pound weight, the 10-pound weight feels like a feather. But if you lift a 2-pound weight and then you lift the 10-pound weight, the 10-pound weight feels like a boulder. The actual mass of the 10-pound weight never changed. Only your perception of it changed based entirely on the anchor that preceded it. In negotiation, the first number or the first request you drop into the room is the 50-pound weight. It is the anchor. If you want a client to pay you $10,000 for a project and you ask for $10,000, their brain compares $10,000 to zero. Compared to zero, $10,000 is a massive amount of money. It is a heavy weight. They will fight you. They will try to negotiate you down to $7,000. But if you use the door in the face, you do not ask for $10,000. You look them in the eye and say, for the comprehensive build, the full suite of services, and priority 24/7 access, the fee is $35,000. You drop a 50-pound weight on their chest, They gasp. They panic. They say, absolutely not. That is way out of our budget. We cannot do $35,000. They have slammed the door in your face. Now, you execute the pivot. You pause. You look slightly disappointed, but understanding. You say, I understand. That is a heavy investment. What if we strip away the 24/7 access, remove the tertiary modules, and focus purely on the core execution? I can do the core package for $10,000. Watch what happens to their brain. They are no longer comparing $10,000 to $0. They are comparing $10,000 to $35,000. Suddenly, $10,000 does not look like an expense. It looks like a discount. It looks like a massive savings of $25,000. It feels like a feather. They will agree to the $10,000 with speed and relief. You changed the terrain of their reality. You dictated the terms of their perception. Pillar 2, the Law of Reciprocal Concession. Human society is built on the rule of reciprocity. If I give you something, you are biologically wired to feel a sense of obligation to give me something back. If I buy you a drink, you feel compelled to buy the next round. But reciprocity applies to more than just physical gifts. It applies to concessions. When two people negotiate, there is an unwritten social contract. If I compromise, you must compromise. If I take a step toward you, you must take a step toward me. When you make your massive, unreasonable request, $35,000, and they say no, they feel a tiny, microscopic spike of social guilt. They have rejected you. They have been uncooperative. When you sigh and lower your price to $10,000, you are making a concession. You are signaling to them, okay, I am backing down. I am compromising for you. Because you made a concession, the law of reciprocity demands that they make a concession in return. Their only available concession is to move from no to yes. They do not realize that your first offer was a phantom. They do not realize that your concession was a tactical retreat to the high ground you intended to occupy all along. They feel like they won a victory over you, while they sign the exact contract you designed for them. Sun Tzu says, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. You have imposed your will, disguised as a surrender. Part 3. The architecture of the decoy, calibrating the extreme ask. The door in the face is a lethal weapon, but it has a specific calibration point. If you miscalibrate the initial ask, the weapon explodes in your hands. There is a line between extreme and absurd. If your initial request is absurd, it breaks the frame of the negotiation. It signals that you are not operating in good faith. If you are selling a used Honda Civic worth $5,000 and you ask for $100,000, the buyer will not negotiate. They will turn around and walk away, assuming you are insane. The decoy request must exist in the realm of plausible audacity. It must be a number or a favor that is technically possible, completely justifiable, but highly unlikely for this specific target to agree to. It must be legitimate enough that if they did say yes, you would happily take it. How do you build plausible audacity? You build it with scope. You do not just ask for a ridiculous sum of money for a basic service. You expand the scope of the service to justify the ridiculous sum. Simulation, the salary negotiation. You want a $15,000 raise. The amateur walks in and asks for $15,000. The boss haggles them down to $5,000. The warlord uses plausible audacity. The warlord walks into the boss's office. I've been reviewing the Q3 objectives. I am prepared to take over the leadership of the new marketing division, manage the 3 junior associates, and take point on the weekend client calls. For this expansion of scope, I am requesting a title bump to senior director and a salary increase of $45,000. This is the decoy. You know they will not give you $45,000. You know they do not want to give you the title. But notice how it is constructed. It is tied to massive value. It is tied to taking on the weekend calls and managing the juniors. It is logically consistent, even if it is too expensive. The boss reacts, "Whoa, that's incredibly ambitious, but we simply do not have the budget for a $45,000 increase right now, and we aren't ready to promote anyone to senior director this quarter." The door is slammed. The warlord pauses. You look thoughtful. You let the silence sit for exactly 3 seconds. Then, you execute the retreat. I understand. The budget is tight. Let's table the senior director title, and I won't take on the weekend calls or the junior management. I will keep my current scope, but given my performance metrics over the last year, I need an adjustment of $15,000 to remain aligned with the market. Analyze the pivot. You remove the massive responsibilities. You remove the title. You made a huge concession. Now, the $15,000 seems entirely reasonable. It seems like the absolute least they can do, considering you just offered to solve all their management problems and they turned you down. The boss feels relief that they dodged the $45,000 bullet. They give you the $15,000, feeling like they negotiated you down. You leave the room with exactly what you wanted. Part 4. The social terrain, extracting favors and setting boundaries. The door in the face is not just for boardrooms and money. It is a psychological master key that unlocks social compliance. Humans are deeply bound by social guilt. When we deny a request from a friend, a partner, or a colleague, we feel a micro burst of shame. We feel like we are being unhelpful. The Warlord harvests this micro burst of shame to extract the true objective. Scenario 1. The volunteer trap. You need a coworker to help you review a 20-page document. It will take them an hour. If you ask them directly, "Hey, can you review this 20-page document for me?" They will groan. They will say they are too busy. The Warlord sets the decoy. "Hey, the executive team needs someone to completely overhaul the formatting on the Q4 data dump. It's probably going to take your whole weekend. Can you take point on that?" The coworker panics. "A whole weekend? No way, man. I have family in town. I am completely slammed. I absolutely cannot do that." The door is slammed. The Warlord sighs. Understood. No problem. I'll figure out the weekend thing. Could you at least do me a huge favor and just proofread this 20-page summary this afternoon? It should only take an hour." The coworker's brain is drowning in relief. An hour on Friday afternoon versus their entire weekend? "Yeah, absolutely. Send it over. I can do an hour." They are practically begging to do the hour of work to alleviate the guilt of rejecting the weekend of work. You manufactured their relief. Scenario 2. Setting the boundary, the extreme void. This technique can also be used defensively to establish boundaries with a toxic person or a demanding family member. Your mother wants you to come home for a 2-week holiday vacation. You want to stay for 3 days. If you say, "I'm only coming for 3 days," the negotiation begins. The guilt trips begin. The Warlord uses the door in the face in reverse. You anchor with an extreme boundary. "Mom, work is absolutely insane right now. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it home for the holidays at all this year. I'm going to have to stay here." The explosion happens, the tears, the panic. "You're ruining Christmas. You never come home." You let the storm rage. You let them exhaust their emotional ammunition. Then you make the concession. "Listen, I hear how important this is to you. Let me call my boss and move mountains. I can't do the 2 weeks, but I will force my schedule open to be there for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. 3 days. That is the absolute maximum I can pull off." Suddenly, your 3-day visit is not a disappointment. It is a miracle. You are a hero for moving mountains. You got exactly the boundary you wanted, but you framed it as a massive sacrifice on your part. Part 5. The execution protocols, the art of the pivot. The success of the door in the face relies entirely on your acting ability during the pivot. Between step 1, the decoy, and step 2, the target, there is a crucial space of time. This is where the magic happens. If you drop the decoy and they say no, and you instantly say, "Okay, how about this instead?" You look like a scammer. You look like a used car salesman. You reveal that the first offer was a fake. You must respect the rejection. You must absorb the no like a physical blow. Protocol 1, the 3-second pause. When they say no, you must go silent. You must look down or look thoughtful. 1, 2, 3. This silence allows their no to echo in the room. It allows the social tension to build. It allows their guilt to marinate. They are waiting for you to get angry. They are waiting for you to argue. Protocol 2, the verbal relinquishment. You break the silence by completely validating their rejection. I understand. That makes total sense. I completely see your point. That is a heavy lift. You are removing all resistance. You are showing them that you respect their boundaries. This lowers their defensive shields to zero. They think the fight is over. Protocol 3, the what-if strike. While their shields are down, you slip the dagger between their ribs. What if, or would you be open to, since we can't do X, what if we just did Y? You position the target request not as a demand, but as a collaborative compromise. You position it as a lifeline that saves both of you from a failed interaction. Protocol 4, the tone of reluctance. When you offer the target request, you must sound slightly pained. You must sound like you are giving up something valuable. And I suppose I could drop the price to $10,000, but I'll really have to tighten the timeline on my end to make the margins work. You are making them feel like they squeezed you. People love a deal. They love the feeling of drawing blood from a stone. Let them feel like they won a hard-fought battle. Part 6, the advanced maneuver, the triple tier strategy. Once you have mastered the basic door in the face, you can upgrade to the triple tier. This is the strategy used by top-tier consulting firms and master negotiators. You do not present one extreme option. You present 3 options simultaneously. Tier 1, the decoy, the premium. This is the astronomical price, the massive commitment, $50,000. Tier 2, the target, the core. This is what you actually want to sell, $15,000. Tier 3, the undesirable minimum, the anchor of pain. This is a terribly cheap, bare-bones option that lacks the essential features they need. $3,000. When you present the proposal, you anchor them with Tier 1. Their eyes widen at $50,000. They immediately reject it. They look at Tier 3. $3,000 is cheap, but it doesn't solve their problem. It looks inadequate. Their eyes naturally settle on Tier 2. The $15,000. Because it sits between the extreme high and the inadequate low, Tier 2 becomes the Goldilocks zone. It looks like the most rational, safe, and logical choice in the world. You did not have to argue for $15,000. You simply flanked it with 2 extremes that made it the only sane option on the table. This is the illusion of choice. You gave them 3 doors, but you locked 2 of them. You let them turn the handle on the unlocked door and believe it was their idea to open it. Part 7, defense against the dark arts, how to survive the trap. You are a warlord, but there are other warlords in the world. Eventually, someone will try to use the door in the face on you. A salesman, a vendor, a manipulative partner. They will come to you with a massive, absurd request. You will say no. Then they will sigh, look disappointed, and offer a smaller alternative. You will feel the pull of the contrast. You will feel the tug of reciprocal guilt. You will feel the urge to say yes just to relieve the social tension. How do you defend yourself? How do you break the trap? Defense 1, the mental firewall isolating the variable. When they drop the second request, you must build an immediate, impenetrable firewall between request 1 and request 2. Do not evaluate request 2 relative to request 1. Evaluate request 2 against 0. If the salesman asks for $50,000 and then drops to $20,000, your brain says, wow, I saved $30,000. You must kill that thought. You must say to yourself, the $50,000 never existed. It was a phantom. The only question is this product worth $20,000 of my money compared to keeping $20,000 in my bank account? When you isolate the variable, the illusion of the discount evaporates. Defense 2, the meta commentary, naming the game. If you know they are using the tactic, you can completely disarm them by naming it. Vendor, okay, we can't do the full suite for $50,000. What if we just do the basic package for $20,000? You, smiling coldly, I see what you're doing. You anchored me high with a premium package you knew I wouldn't buy, so the $20,000 would feel like a concession. It's a good tactic, but I am evaluating the basic package on its own merits, and its actual market value is closer to $12,000. So that is my counter. When you name the game, you strip the magician of their power, You show them that you see the wires holding up the puppet. The moment you expose their tactic, they lose all psychological leverage. They must now negotiate on facts, not illusions. Defense 3. The double door slam. When they make the concession and offer the smaller request, you refuse to reciprocate. You simply close the door again. Vendor, what if we just do the basic package for $20,000? No, that is still far outside the scope of what I'm willing to allocate to this problem. You do not offer a counter, you do not explain, you just deliver a second no. This breaks the rule of reciprocal concession. It signals that you are immune to social guilt. It signals that you are cold-blooded. When the enemy realizes that their psychological levers have no effect on you, they will panic. They will drop their floor instantly to try and salvage the deal. Part 8. The philosophy of the extreme. Why do so many people fail at this technique? Because they lack the courage to be extreme. To use the door in the face, you must be willing to look unreasonable for a few seconds. You must be willing to endure the shock and the no of the initial decoy. The weak mind cannot handle this. The weak mind wants to be liked at all times. The weak mind wants to be seen as fair from the very first breath. But fairness is not given. Fairness is constructed. Sun Tzu says, "In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak." The enemy's strength is their resistance to your initial approach. Their weakness is their desire for social harmony and their vulnerability to contrast. By throwing a massive, sacrificial army, the extreme request, against their strong walls, you allow them to exhaust their resistance. They use up all their no energy on the decoy. And when the smoke clears and they think the battle is over, you march your true army, the target request, through the side gate. Stop asking the world for exactly what you want. The world is a marketplace that automatically halves the value of whatever you request. If you ask for a loaf of bread, they will give you a slice. If you want a loaf of bread, you must ask for the entire bakery. You must become comfortable with the rejection of the bakery. You must learn to smile when they slam the door. Because the warlord knows that the slam door is not the end of the negotiation. It is the beginning of the trap. Part 9. The application of audacity. Your mission for this week is to test the physics of the decoy. Do not test it on a multi-million-dollar deal yet. Test it in the trenches of everyday life. Mission 1. The retail drill. Go to a store where negotiation is slightly possible, a boutique, a market, or dealing with a service provider. Find an item you want to buy. Ask for an absolutely absurd, massive discount. Will you take 70% off this? They will look at you like you are crazy. They will say, absolutely not. Absorb the no. Do not flinch, then sigh. I understand. That's fair. What about 15%? Watch how quickly they agree to the 15% just to get rid of the tension you created with the 70% ask. Mission 2. The social drill. Ask a friend for an incredibly inconvenient favor. Hey, can you drive me to the airport at 4 a.m. on Sunday? When they refuse, immediately pivot. No worries, I know it's early. Could you just feed my cat on Saturday afternoon instead? Watch the relief wash over them as they eagerly agree to feed the cat. You are a scientist running experiments on human psychology. You are observing the code. Conclusion. The master of the terrain. The amateur enters a room hoping the environment will be kind to them. The warlord enters a room and redesigns the environment. The door in the face is not just a trick. It is a profound manipulation of reality. It is the realization that value, size, and fairness do not exist in a vacuum. They only exist in comparison to the things around them. He who controls the comparison controls the outcome. Do not let the enemy set the anchor. Do not let the enemy decide what is reasonable. You set the anchor. You build the decoy. You manufacture the contrast. Let them slam the door. Let them feel strong. Let them feel like they defended their castle. And while they are busy congratulating themselves on their victory, quietly collect exactly what you came for. This is the way of the art of conquest. On this channel, we cover a range of topics, like the one in this video. If you enjoy this type of content, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, we may never see each other again. See you again soon.